President Trump just a short time ago attacking the legal system for refusing to immediately restore his travel ban. A federal appeals court denying that request. President Trump at Mar-a-Lago tonight attacking the judge who initially issued the temporary restraining order, saying he's putting the country, quote, in peril. And Mr. Trump telling Homeland Security to check people very carefully at the airports. The president also raising eyebrows with his comments about the actions of Russian President Vladimir Putin, suggesting U.S. leaders aren't so innocent. Top Republicans breaking with the president on that issue, and ABC's David Wright starts us off.
Tonight, a legal showdown with tearful repercussions.
I didn't know how long it's going to take me to see my mother.
Families torn apart by Trump's abrupt targeted travel ban, racing to reunite, not sure how long the door will remain open. Today, Trump warned, I have instructed Homeland Security to check people coming into our country very carefully. The courts are making the job very difficult. The fate of Trump's controversial policy shutting the doors to visa holders from 7 predominantly Muslim countries is now in the hands of the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals. Overnight, the appeals court rejected the administration's plea for an emergency ruling that would have reinstated the executive order, but a 3-judge panel is set to review the issue tomorrow. The Department of Justice argues the federal judge in Washington who lifted the ban improperly second-guessed the president's national security determinations, overstepping his judicial authority. Democrats are pushing back on that.
The president is not a dictator. The framers of our Constitution wanted a strong Congress for the very reason that most of these kinds of things should be done within the scope of lawmaking.
But Trump appears to see it differently, tweeting today, just cannot believe a judge would put our country in such peril. If something happens, blame him and court system. People pouring in, bad. Even some Republicans are expressing discomfort about the tone the president has set, especially with that tweet disparaging this so-called judge.
I'll be honest, I don't understand language like that. We don't have so-called judges. We don't have so-called senators. We don't have so-called presidents.
There's also mounting criticism of this exchange from Trump's interview with Fox News' Bill O'Reilly.
Do you respect Putin?
I do respect him.
Do you? Why?
Well, I respect a lot of people, but that doesn't mean I'm going to get along with him.
Putin's a killer.
A lot of killers. We got a lot of killers. Why, you think our country's so innocent?
Senator Marco Rubio blasted back. When has a Democratic political activist been poisoned by the GOP or vice versa? We are not the same as Putin. Vice President Mike Pence insists there's no moral equivalency, but he told George Stephanopoulos there's good reason to improve relations with Moscow.
Russia has a common interest in confronting radical Islamic terrorism and especially ISIS. And if we have opportunities to work together, I think the president is looking for an opportunity to begin that relationship anew.
Tonight, the president is hoping for a few hours break from it all. He told O'Reilly he'll be rooting for Tom Brady.
So I'll say the Patriots will win.
By how many points?
By 8 points.
Trump says he likes both teams, but Brady's his friend. And he said, you got to stick up for your friends.
David joins us live now. And David, this fight over the travel ban could affect the president in other ways, namely his pick for the Supreme Court.
That's right. Democrats have already signaled they'll have some tough questions for Judge Neil Gorsuch. They want to know, does he believe in checks and balances? Does he believe in an independent judiciary? And especially in the context of this legal fight, that could put him at odds with the president. Tom?
David Wright with the president in Palm Beach, Florida. David, thank you. The legal battle over the travel ban far from over. So let's bring in ABC Supreme Court contributor Kate Shaw. Kate, what happens next? And is this case headed to the Supreme Court?
So right now the case is in front of the Court of Appeals. Remember, since Friday night, this travel ban has been on hold, and the Trump administration is asking the Court of Appeals to reverse that, right, to let the ban go back into effect. If they lose in the Court of Appeals, that could happen quickly. There's briefing happening today and tomorrow, so the Court of Appeals could rule as quickly as Monday night or Tuesday. If the Trump administration tries to get the Supreme Court to intervene, it would actually take 5 votes in this situation for them to prevail. And you could then see that the fact that there's an 8-member court, remember, there's an absence because of Justice Scalia's death last year, could really work against the Trump administration.
We'll be staying on top of this story. All right, Kate, thanks.